Очаков ТВ представляет.
As this truck there being trailed by Bell Gardens PD made a left. We're going to find out exactly where this is in the Bell Gardens area. We can tell you that we don't at this point know the want, as a close call there, making a right turn, going through traffic at high rates of speed, considering that this is on surface streets. This is on Garfield, I'm being told, in the Bell Gardens area. We're waiting to find out from police the want, why this person is fleeing from police. As we approach the 5 o'clock hour, it's 4:38 here,
Мы
and
ждем
it's a
от
white
полиции
pickup truck.
заявлений по поводу того, что это за трак, что случилось, почему он убегает от полиции, кому он принадлежит и так далее.
Dennis Zine, he is joining us now on the line here, police specialist. Dennis, you were LAPD, you know all about this stuff. What do you make of this?
Well, just another pursuit in the city of LA, unusual vehicle. As we see this vehicle traveling on the roads, looks like a residential area, so we're just tuning in to this. I'm just getting preliminary
Это
reports on
происходит
this
в графстве
particular
Лос-Анджелес.
pursuit. We've had a number of them lately, high-speed pursuits, and
И
this
на
was
высокой
the sheriff's
скорости
department
трак
overhead.
едет по жилому
Very
району.
dangerous, driving through a stop sign, nearly collided with a car traveling without the stop. So there's a lot of potential danger in this particular pursuit that's taken place. I believe it's in the
Не
county
останавливаясь
And now, Dennis, we
и
understand they're in
неся
Montebello just like that.
большую
Well,
потенциальную
Montebello, I don't believe, has a
опасность.
chopper. They're using the LA County Sheriff's Department chopper. This vehicle is driving in a very, very dangerous fashion, as we see, traversing these streets, wrong side of roadway, making bizarre turns. We have one vehicle behind, the black and white. I don't know how many other vehicles are in this pursuit. Do we know what the vehicle is wanted for, the suspect's wanted for?
No, in fact, we know that Bell Gardens PD is the lead agency here now in Montebello, but as for the wants, we have yet to figure that one out. We have
Definitely hot the truck.
We have it clocked at about 75 miles per hour on, as you mentioned, a residential street, surface street here. Just
Трак едет 75 миль в час. Это приблизительно 110-115 километров в час. Все это по жилому району.
We're calling it a work vehicle, a truck here. The size of it, that also adds to the dangerousness of this pursuit.
Broadcast what the vehicle is wanted for. You can speculate anything. Obviously, he's committing felonies by the way he's driving. But what they want for originally, I do not know. Again, a wrong side of road, going to come up on an intersection, going through that intersection, car stop. This individual, wrong side of road again. This individual is really, really hot to get away.
Oh,
that is a construction type of vehicle, so it wouldn't surprise me if there was a collision before there's an
Это так
apprehension.
называемый рабочий трак, то есть это тяжелая очень машина.
It's very, very dangerous.
Sure, and Dennis, of course, I've mentioned the time so far. It's now 4:42.
Очень опасная манера езды, как вы видите.
There's a lot more people out at this hour of the day. This guy driving recklessly, 75 miles per hour on surface streets. This big vehicle, this white pickup truck here. The busy traffic time, that's one of the elements. How do Bell Gardens PD, how do you stop someone like this in terms of, is it a pit maneuver, a spike strip?
Well, you're not going to be able to do a pit maneuver on those narrow residential streets. That will not work.
Каким образом они его собираются остановить? Значит, пит-маневр, когда полицейская машина сзади разворачивает преследуемую машину, можно проводить на скорости 30-35 миль в час, то есть примерно до 50 километров в час. То есть, когда машина едет со скоростью более 100 километров в час, это такой маневр не проводится.
So yes, the vehicle did go through, it looked like some sort of a parking lot. Fortunately, still no accidents to speak of, which is just really a miracle given the speed and the recklessness with this driver.
The man or woman, but the suspect is very, very intent on getting away. But that vehicle is easy to recognize, easy to spot. Again, he's remaining, or she's the suspect. Yeah, remaining in the residential area.
crossed over the median there, now in the wrong side of traffic.
Безбашенная езда трака, он выезжает на встречную полосу сейчас.
As you watch this pursuit, we are in the East LA area, and we understand this driver has been going in a similar area.
Мы находимся в восточном Лос-Анджелесе сейчас.
The streets they've been on: Beverly, Sadler, Whittier, Williamson, 6th, and Gerhardt, and Olympic Boulevard in East LA. Again,
we do get commercial vehicles that are stolen. It's not uncommon. And if this is a construction vehicle and someone stole it, or the individual.
Look at that move there.
Dennis, as you're going to see, he just looked like scraped a couple of vehicles that were stopped in this 4-lane.
Похоже, что этот тяжелый трак зацепил несколько машин.
In East LA, the Montebello golf course.
Yep. Yeah, he's really trying to get away, and he comes up upon traffic, especially at this hour. You're going to find a lot of traffic. You know, we're 4:46 going on 5 o'clock, people out of work, a lot of people on the roads, students, bicycle riders, motorcycle riders, etc. Highly congested area. This is not a late night pursuit where you don't have a lot of traffic. You see, the supervisor will be observing, and obviously, oftentimes the supervisor will intercede, because the officers that are in pursuit are intent on apprehending this individual. High-speed pursuit, their adrenaline is pumping. A supervisor looks at this and says, too hazardous, too many problems, let's back off. Let's continue observing. Let's continue with the air operation, follow the safe distance, and they will pursue, but at a safer distance without the siren and red light.
Precarious turn there, Dennis.
In the west, so they're probably wise to say
Whoa.
We've seen so many near misses, and that was just another one right through a major
Мы видим
intersection
так
there now in
много
Alhambra.
аварийной ситуации, когда трак едва не врезается в другие машины.
There's that hazard that occurs. He goes from residential to commercial. Now it looks like maybe back going into a residential area. He keeps on transferring back and forth. Where you've got hazards in both.
Все это происходит в жилом районе, трак ездит туда-обратно по этому району.
We know they bail from the vehicle. This is a hard vehicle to hide, hard vehicle to conceal. And those units that were behind, I see them fall. They look like they're slipping back. Let's take a detour and let's get back to. Now he'll be getting into the Los Angeles City area. Now you'll find LAPD will jump in. Is this violator, this traffic violator suspect again through another stop sign onto additional residential streets? LAPD should be joining this along with the LAPD chopper. That will take place shortly.
So this all started. This all started in Bell Gardens. The lead agency is Bell Gardens at this point. You mentioned blowing through another intersection near misses left and right here in the middle lane. You mentioned that LAPD might now join in this pursuit of this white pickup truck, some sort of a work vehicle.
До сих пор трак преследовался помощниками шерифа, но сейчас похоже, что Лос-Анджелесская полиция подключается и должен прилететь полицейский вертолет.
Oh my gosh.
Just blew through the train crossing, the actual
the train's
gates.
Approaching.
Right.
Видите, он только что сбил два шлагбаума, и буквально через несколько секунд там пронесся поезд.
And here comes the train.
Yeah, if you think moments, if there just the timing that he went through those gates, those train guard, if he'd waited that train was coming right up on him. Wow.
We have an answer finally that we can tell you this is a grand theft auto suspect. What's your take
GTA.
now?
So some construction worker was doing work, and this individual stole the vehicle with all the equipment. That's what we have.
Выяснилось, что подозреваемый украл вот этот рабочий трак со всем инструментом, который внутри.
Was there an armed takeover? Was the vehicle parked? Were the keys in it? A lot of those questions have to be answered. But now we know this is a stolen vehicle that's obviously stolen from a contractor, a construction worker, with all the tools on that utility vehicle. And that's what we're faced with now.
You think of that. Okay, we're going to stay with the live at the moment then. The suspect getting off the freeway again, going through that stop sign there, back on surface streets now.
So the bigger picture here, we are showing some previous incidences when this suspect, I was going to say a near miss, but in fact sideswiped one of the vehicles there as he made his way through a jammed intersection there. We've seen plenty of near misses. He barreled through a crossing guard train, nearly hit him at one point. We've seen him blow by pedestrians.
Подозреваемый прорвался через пробки, сбив два шлагбаума на железнодорожном переезде.
They can do it on the surface street, LA County, whatever the case may be. In this particular case, the individual, the suspect's going back and forth, freeway, surface street.
Oh, okay. Dennis, we want to interrupt. There's just been an accident involving this vehicle at an intersection. The white truck has stopped in the middle of the intersection. Another vehicle was hit at quite a high rate of speed.
Этого трака.
And we can see the black and whites there in the intersection, so they are there now, and so this is where it gets even more intense because it comes down to if this suspect will listen to the commands and show his hands and get out of the vehicle, and then it also, is this person armed?
Now the question is, we see the
посмотрим, будет ли выполнять команды полицейских подозреваемый, а также увидим, вооружен ли он. Но мы видим только одного полицейского офицера с одной машиной, который приказывает ему выйти из машины, и полицейский офицер ждет подмогу.
He is complying. You have to think of those innocent people who are behind that vehicle as they watch this play out with law enforcement there and their guns trained at this suspect here. The good news is he seems to be listening. He doesn't seem to be agitated. He's not moving around. He has his hands on his head right now.
Хорошая новость, то, что подозреваемый выполняет команды офицера.
And the CHP officer with his gun drawn, obviously, as he's giving this suspect commands. This is at the intersection, by the way, in Pasadena, at Orange Grove and Holly, where this
Погоня эта закончилась в районе Лос-Анджелеса. Называется Пасадена.
So far, anyway. Go
This
ahead,
will remain. The CHP officer needs to get a backup. We need to have additional units to respond to this scene. He's not going to take that suspect into custody by himself. If the suspect decides to flee on foot, now we got a foot pursuit with one officer, and that's not the safest thing. So hopefully there's units responding quickly to this scene to back up this officer. Again, you got people in the other vehicle. We got to get rescue there.
Sure, because like the airbag, it looks like the airbag went off in there, so we need to get emergency vehicles there to.
Похоже, что джип, в который врезался трак, у него выстрелили подушки безопасности, и нужно выяснить, есть ли там люди, точнее, сколько там людей и в каком они состоянии.
There you go. Okay, 3 officers now there, so he has the backup that he needs.
Теперь еще 2 офицера приехали на подмогу.
So he is completely complying, now lying there on the ground. There is that concern, as you said,
Положили подозреваемого на землю.
I'm not sure why the white car stopped there, perhaps to be a witness. But the black car that was
Вот эта белая машина, похоже, что там свидетель просто остановился, проехал немножко и остановился, ждет полицию.
But that's going to be something to watch here. All right, suspect now being taken into custody, vehicle being cleared.
Все, подозреваемый захвачен, ему одевают наручники. И сейчас надо выяснить, в каком состоянии находится водитель вот этого черного джипа, который был протаранен этим траком. Они смотрят внутрь джипа, в каком состоянии находится потерпевший.
Operator, if there's a passenger in that vehicle, they want to get them medical treatment as quickly as possible. It looks like that officer in the tan uniform, that's a CHP motorcycle officer who was operating in a vehicle, but that was the original officer that made the initial stop, and now we've got additional units responding from other agencies. So there'll be assistance. That intersection is going to be locked down for a while, or whatever intersection that is. It's at the
Вызваны аварийные службы, скорая помощь.
Do we know what location that is?
It's Orange Grove and Holly, right above the 210.
So Orange Grove and Holly is going to be locked down for a while. They'll get the witness information, they'll render aid to those that
Вот
are
они
injured.
прибывают пожарные машины. Почему пожарные машины? Потому что пожарные одновременно и спасатели, плюс там всегда есть парамедик, тот, кто оказывает первую медицинскую помощь.
Or just the driver.
Or if the driver's side door is disabled, which could be the case.
Спасатели пытаются выяснить,
whomever is in that vehicle is not injured
получил ли
badly.
травму водитель.
That impact was on the driver's side, and those airbags inflated, so hopefully the driver is going to be okay, but they'll render aid, get that driver to the hospital if necessary, probably so, with that impact on the driver's side. That's a tremendous impact that took place.
Посмотрите, как грамотно и слаженно работают спасательные службы. Каждый знает, что он делает, нет никакой лишней суеты.
They'll get that taken care of real quick. I don't see what agency, what department is there with the fire department, but there are definitely fire, paramedics, and now CHP and other law enforcement agencies. So basically,
полицейские убрали машины, которые могут мешать, отходят сами в сторону, не дают советов спасателям, не помогают им. Вот это называется разделение функций.
Well, we can tell you that it is Pasadena Fire Department there on scene rendering aid. And Dennis, to your point, this is precisely what we do not want to see. We don't want a pursuit to have to end in this manner. That's great that the suspect is in custody, but to see this and this situation unfold before our eyes, this is not what we want to see.
No, this person has a family that is going to be worried that they're going to be at the hospital. And all the concerns, this is a total innocent individual in a late model vehicle, gets broadsided by an individual, steals a utility truck and broadsides this vehicle, injures this person, destroys the car. I mean, this is a siren. The vehicle was not in activated emergency. That's one of the problems when you go into a tracking mode is you don't warn the public, you're not alerting the public. Hopefully the suspect will slow down. In this particular case, we see this tragic situation. Hopefully this driver will be okay, but I will not be surprised if there's some serious injuries as a result of this collision.
And that is the catch-22 of the tracking mode, simply because they are in that mode to protect the public. But then, as you point out, then the drivers remain unsuspecting and have no forewarning that this is coming their way.
Yeah, they're going through a green light, thinking about what am I going to make for dinner. The family, and all of a sudden this tragedy occurs. This is really heartbreaking.
Вот посмотрите еще раз, как произошла сама авария.
Where you saw how that happened right there at that intersection above the 210 overpass there. An innocent driver struck by this vehicle. As we watch this pursuit, it's surprising to me. Yeah, it's surprising to me that it didn't happen earlier because of the way this guy was driving and making so many erratic turns. The fire department's still there on the scene. Hard to tell if there are more people on board in that vehicle because they're working there in the back seat as well, or if it's just the driver that they're working on.
That would be curious. Again, they do have the jaws.
Спасатели все еще демонтируют двери машины, стойки, для того, чтобы извлечь водителя.
What they're trying to do is open that vehicle up so they can extricate that driver, and if there's any passengers, there could be passengers in the back seat. Sure, when you get broadsided to that degree, injury to this driver, and we don't know if there's passengers or not in addition to the driver, but they're spending some time there. Again, the jaws of life will work. They've opened up the vehicle. They're going to hopefully get that driver or any passengers out as quickly as possible. But what happens is when that side caves in, and now you're going to be crushed with the body of the car, and that's what they're using the jaws of life for, to remove that. You're in the seatbelt, and now the car basically crunches you, and so you've got to open this up in order to extricate, to get that person, the driver, out of that vehicle, and that's what they're doing with the jaws of life, trying to open that car up. You got some steel frame beams in the construction of the vehicle, and it's supposed to withstand the impact. As we see what happened with this impact, airbags inflate, but you're still stuck there in a seatbelt behind that wheel.
And Dennis, we are hearing that there is just one person in this vehicle, and by all accounts, this person is conscious and breathing. And
и по последней информации, один человек в машине, водитель, и он в сознании, он дышит.
Yes. I'm sure there'll be a lot of bruises, but their car's now destroyed. They're injured, and the individual who had the utility vehicle,
Машина не взорвалась,
owner of
не
that vehicle, is
загорелась.
now without a vehicle, and suspect goes to jail.
Well, here comes the stretcher, so that
Подозреваемого
potentially indicates
отправили
that soon enough they will be able to get this
в
the
участок.
driver of this vehicle out and to a hospital.
И вот
sooner than later.
спасатели
Well, Pasadena has some great facilities, medical
подвезли
facilities.
носилки.
Again, fire department personnel, paramedics do a great job, and they were there in just a couple minutes. So, commendation to the Pasadena fire folks. They did a great job with this, and hopefully this person will recover, the victim of this incident. Again, we got jobs, we earn income, we support our families. In this particular situation, you've got a suspect that stole the vehicle. We know that was confirmed as a stolen vehicle, and we don't know whatever else or how many times this suspect has been involved in criminal. The suspect. I mean, this is how you see real tragedy occur to a family that was doing everything right, paid their taxes, paid their bills, does everything right, and as a consequence of an individual that stole the vehicle and plows into this vehicle to a mid-phase red light. These are the real tragedies that the general public doesn't see live, as we've seen here on.
Специальный каркас принес парамедик, на который пострадавший сейчас будет помещен. Прямо из машины для того, чтобы человек не сгибался, чтобы как можно в более прямом состоянии он мог попасть на носилки.
To try to get to that person and get them into an ambulance. So they're making the move now to get that person over to the ambulance. This location is Orange Grove and Holly.
И вот вы видите две пожарные машины и одна машина скорой помощи.
It's hard to see the status of this person. We can only hope for the best. Obviously in the good hands there.
Все, пострадавшего везут в скорую помощь, загружают. Ну и надеемся, что с пострадавшим будет все хорошо.
Their cars destroyed, they'll be in the hospital, and the consequences they're going to have to encounter because of the individual that stole that vehicle. I mean.
Все, пострадавшего увозит скорая помощь. Полицейские все еще стоят в оцеплении, не пропускают машины. Ну, что можно сказать? Погоня длилась часа полтора, насколько я помню. Я вам сократил, естественно, это видео. Основные моменты показал. Так что подписывайтесь на канал. Если понравилось, ставьте лайк. Все, спасибо за просмотр. До новых встреч.